List comprehensions. In this video, we will learn a neat trick for creating lists. Suppose I want to create a list that stores the first 5 positive integers. This of course could be done by first starting out with an empty list, then using a for loop to store the values 1 through 5 in the MyList. Then when we print out this MyList, this is what we get as our output, the values 1 through 5 in order. Quick review, when we use the range method and we give it the parameters 1 through 6, it'll generate a list containing all values from 1 up to, but not including, the 6. Now, that all being said, the first 3 lines of this program could have all been done in just one line using a special Python trick called list comprehension. And here's an example of it. Now, this code looks pretty confusing. Let's break down what's happening. First, you see on the right side, we have a pair of brackets. This just indicates that what we're about to do is going to create a list. Then, inside those brackets, on the right side, you see what is basically a hidden for loop. This for loop will generate a list storing all values from 1 up to, but not including 6. It'll then assign each value in that list to the I variable one by one during each iteration of this hidden for loop. Then, to the left of this hidden for loop is the value that we want appended to the list during each iteration of the hidden for loop. In this case, we simply want the I value to be appended to the list. Thus, when we print this out, we get the values 1 through 5 stored in the list. Okay. Now, we could have also appended 2 times I during each iteration of the for loop. When we do that, we get the first 5 even integers. We also could have appended the square of I during each iteration of the hidden for loop. When we do that, we get the first 5 squares stored inside my list. We also could have appended the remainder of dividing I by 2 during each iteration of the for loop. When we do that, these are the values that we get, 1 and 0 alternating. We also could append the result of a Boolean expression to the list during each iteration of the hidden for loop. Here, in this case, we compute the remainder of dividing I by 2, and then if it equals 0, append true. If it does not equal 0, append false. When we do that, these are the values that get appended to my list. Okay. We also could change the parameters given to the range method. When we do that, this of course will affect what values get stored inside my list. Here, we get the values 3 up to, but not including, 11. We also could convert I to a string before appending it to my list. When we do that and we print it out, we now get the same values 3 through 10, but as you can see, there are now quotation marks around each number because we didn't simply add an integer to the list, we appended the string version of that integer. In general, any value or expression that you could put inside a call to the append method could also be used on the left side of the for loop in a list comprehension.